We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
Woo! I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl! But while we're on this subject, we're going to jump into our top 5 front offices, because we just gave some insight in our last topic about the effect they have and how much a front office, what they do, affects winning a championship. It's not just players on the floor. It's all, and that shouldn't be said because it's just obvious, but still, like they need their shine in the light. So we're here to recognize our top 5. What's your fifth?
My fifth, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they have done a phenomenal job in drafting lately. I forget who the executive is over there, but he just won Executive of the Year. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to him. I think he's a pretty young dude too, from what I remember. So I like what they're doing so far. Obviously, with Ja Morant, they did a good job in just landing the second overall pick. They didn't, do anything else besides being bad the year before to get there. But good job in getting Jaren Jackson. Great job in getting Desmond Bane. They've consistently gotten a ton of good role players. They traded away one, D'Anthony Melton, I thought they should have kept. But I really like this team, and they ended up getting to the fucking second seed last year. Who knows what they'll do beyond that for this year.
Yeah, Zach Kleiman. That's the
Zach Kleiman. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a pretty young guy from what I remember.
Yeah, the Grizzlies, they didn't make my list, but they did a great job there. Like I told you at the beginning of this episode, I went through a few of these, and I was like, there could be a lot. Like, everyone's top 5 can look completely different, because there are some that do some really good things. Like the Grizzlies, obviously, they've drafted really well. I'm still a little questionable on some trades that they've made, but they've done a great job overall. I'd say they would be my 6th or 7th. But they've been awesome.
I mean, I was questioning trades that they did till they got the second seed this year.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, then it was like, okay, I mean, they obviously know more than me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about all this stuff, but like, we obviously don't know that much. We just like talking about it.
Yeah.
But my 5th is they might be a lot higher on your list. Is the Miami Heat. Pat Riley, legend. He's gonna be a top 5 executive of all time, probably, if not the top 5. He's great. This best culture in the NBA, and that's been bred from top to bottom, from the worst player to the highest exec, and that's just been for years, almost since creation of the Heat, has that been around. And they've shown they've drafted well. They've been able to retain their stars, keep them happy, and they make splashes in free agency. I mean, the Heat, probably they weren't exactly before LeBron went there, and they weren't a free agency destination, but they created it with how they did it, and now they forever will be because of the South Beach 3.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's a great front office there. Pat Riley has been a mogul in the NBA for years. They are able to get stars to want to go there, or at least star-like players. Like Jimmy Butler is a star, but like he's definitely below some other guys in this league. Yet they were able to get to a championship with him and other dudes around him. Mm-hmm. Duncan Robinson, I felt like came out of nowhere that one year. Like he was out of the rotation this year. Now things seem to change year by year with the Heat. Like you get a new guy you just never heard of. Like, who the hell is Max Strus? All of a sudden became a good player this year. Took over Duncan Robinson's job. Like, okay.
Yeah, they get all these undrafted. Like, they have the best scouting department for undrafted players. Them and I'd say the Warriors can take these undrafted players and develop them so well. They find them that they have great job. They both do great jobs. So that's the most impressive spot.
Yeah, totally agree.
I'll jump right into my 4. Really high on the 4 is the Toronto Raptors. Masai Ujiri does a great job year in and year out. It's kind of hard to say. Like, you always see them at the top. It's kind of rare to see them at the bottom. They're able to retain. But the one thing they do best out of all the teams I'm going to mention is retaining the value when they trade someone. They get something back, whether it's DeMar DeRozan, whether it's Kyle Lowry. They get certain value back where they're not in a year or two. It looks like you forgot that they missed out. They traded that person because they're still successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think the Raptors have a phenomenal front office. Masai Ujiri's reputation speaks for itself, and they took the big home run swing that year to bring in Kawhi Leonard, and they got the home run. They got the freaking championship. And since then, they've done a great job rebuilding. They've gotten Scotty Barnes out of this thing when everybody on the draft and their mother thought that they were going to draft Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Instead, they drafted the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and it was a huge pick like that. And now it's just we'll see what they do now. They certainly need to make some changes, but they're back up there, 4th seed this year again.
They're a contender. I mean, so to be right back there from just a couple of years removed from the Kawhi championship is crazy. My number 4 is the Philadelphia 76ers. I really like what they've done this offseason and over the last year overall. Obviously, with the Daryl Morey handling of Ben Simmons, he played that perfectly when everybody thought, like, oh, you could have traded him like a million times, but he held out till he could get his boy James Harden, and he got him.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. The new 76ers, because of with Daryl Morey, he only took over last year, right?
Yeah, I feel like last year must have been the first year. Maybe it was the second year though. This is either his second or third year. I think he's going into his third year. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is I think Doc Rivers' third year.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I don't know. It's tough because it's still like, as an Orlando fan, I know their player relations still aren't the best, and maybe that'll change under Daryl. But like the Ben Simmons, granted, he's Ben Simmons, but also you can see a certain flow in the back with what happened with Markelle Fultz,
absolutely.
A couple other players I'm trying to.
A lot of shit they fumbled, like Jahlil Okafor. That was a bust immediately. Markelle Fultz was a whole situation, and they didn't get shit back for him in return in the end. But I think this new front office is really excellent. So I've liked what I've seen from them, and I think like maybe it'll pay off in the championship. My number 3 actually was the Toronto Raptors, and I'll go ahead and tell you my number 2 was the Miami Heat. So you had them a lot lower than I thought, but really like both those front offices. Like the Toronto Raptors have done a great job of staying relevant in the East for a team that's in Canada and wasn't relevant for all of my childhood. Now for like the last decade, they've been great. And the Miami Heat, just in a different way, they've always been consistent. They've had Eric Spoelstra forever since he was a young coach, and like they just continue to grow there. And I guarantee once Pat Riley's done, Eric Spoelstra will probably move into the front office eventually.
Yeah, I can totally see that happening. Both great picks. I like it. My third, it's actually a little surprising, but let me justify, is the Brooklyn Nets. So they were thrown an impossible curveball. We've talked about it. Kyrie Irving, like what the fuck do you do with that, right? So, but leading up to that, what they were able to do, where they were just a graveyard of a franchise. Nobody wanted to go there. To rebuild with no picks, they rebounded from that Kevin Garnett trade and Paul Pierce. It just fell apart. It was not worth it, and they convinced KD and Kyrie to come at the time. Great choice. I mean, they did everything they could to make LeBron happy. They did Kevin Durant to retain him and Kyrie. I mean, they entertained Kyrie just not playing for a whole season. They would do everything. And then they went out and they traded and got James Harden. We were just talking about how impossible it is to trade for a superstar. And they went out and did it. And what's more impressive is, he wanted to go there, but convincing the teams to take the package they arrived. Like I don't think that package would have traded if he didn't want to go there so bad. So like they've done an impressive job. Now we're gonna have to see what they retain from these two now, but I think I'm still impressed with what Brooklyn was able to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's not a bad pick. I certainly like the way they're playing their situation right now. They very well might still have Kevin Durant for this next 4 years of his contract because like they are not getting offers that are worth trading him. He's a superstar, and it's like, well, I could either have Kevin Durant play on my team, or I could trade him away for OG Anunoby and some picks. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Michael Bridges and some picks. Why would I do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tyler Hero and picks, garbage. Why would I do that? Like, I would much rather just take my chances with Kevin Durant and whoever else.
Yeah, give me an all at very least minimum of what along with a pick package is give me an all-star and a young star that can be and a young potential with that can be an all-star. Like I don't know, pull out like a Cade Cunningham, a Sadiq Bey, someone like that, you know. But like more meat. Give me more meat in this trade, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the Raptors, like, if they're not including Scotty Barnes, like, I'm not listening to them if I'm the Nets.
Not at all.
Like, the Pelicans, if they're not offering Brandon Ingram, I'm not listening.
Yeah, that's right.
And, like, Miami Heat and Phoenix Suns have nothing, in my opinion. So...
neither one.
Seems like in my opinion, it doesn't seem like he's even gonna get traded, and I'm fine with that. But like, do they trade Kyrie?
They should. I do feel like they should trade Kyrie. I mean, unless they think they can repair it. But I'd be like, Kevin, man, look what Kyrie's doing. Like, come on, let us trade him. Get him the fuck out of here. Like, we won't even we'll just take Westbrook and buy him out if that's what need be. We'll just take and like get something else. But let me move in to my number 2 is the Boston Celtics. I love Brad.
Okay.
They've done a great job built through the draft. What they've done through the draft is the most impressive part, and that's why they're up here.
That's true. I did consider them in my top 5. I just didn't do it.
Great at development. What they've done for Jaylen Brown wasn't supposed to be much when he was drafted. Honestly, he was just not a throwaway pick. He was
only the 3rd overall pick.
Only, but like. Nobody was saying where he could be like as big. Like there was very little hype around him getting picked at 3, if you remember. It was all Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram.
I will say both Tatum and Brown were picks that like I didn't really necessarily think about. Maybe I just wasn't as deep in the draft as I should have been. But like, you know, those were just Danny Ainge knowing like these guys are going to be stars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they were able to make trades, like the smart trades of. When we heard they were bringing Al Horford back, we're like, what the fuck? That's worthless. Turns out he was a huge piece of why they made it to the finals. Like, they know they do these things, and they're able to retain just as well as I said what the Raptors were able to do, the Celtics can retain. They lost Gordon Hayward. They got back. I mean, what turned into Fournier, but Fournier, like, left or whatever. But they were still able to turn into just a star leaving into, all right, we'll bring in a fringe shooter, a 17 points per game guy. We can get that. So they were able to do a bunch with what they can do. So they used the tools at their disposal, and I really was impressed by that. Brad Stevens, what a guy.
Yeah, and they, from that Brooklyn Nets and Celtics trade from years ago, they got Tatum, Brown, and Marcus Smart from those picks. And there was a pick that the Celtics ultimately traded away to the Cavs for Kyrie Irving, and that pick turned into Colin Sexton. So out of all the picks they got from Brooklyn out of that trade, it was Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Colin Sexton. Like, what?
Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane.
Robert Williams, great pick. 27th overall pick. Like, you fucking just nail that. You get a great defensive center. Like, what else you asking for there? Like, at that low in the draft, you basically never get someone like that.
No, I know it's all for that. But all right, so that was those. Who was your first pick?
I think we both have the same here. I mean, it's the Golden State Warriors, obviously. Fresh off the championship, they're in the tail end of their dynasty, I hope. But I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. We still could run it back next year, the next 2 years, I say.
The Jordan Poole era is about to start, you know?
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but they've done a great job all around the board. We've touched on everything this video, and they've done all of it correctly. Trades, development, undrafted, scouting, drafting, what have they done wrong?
Yeah, I mean, they continue to hit it every year, and they traded for Kevin Durant 1 year because he was enthralled enough to go there.
Signed him. Then they traded him.
Signed him and then traded him. But yeah, I mean, really, they've only the reason they have Wiggins on the team is just because they've pivoted from Durant to D'Lo to him, just by trying to fluctuate some money here and there. But Joe Lacob, he's always been willing to pay the luxury tax. Today I saw he called the luxury tax unfair. To that I say, shut the fuck up. You're a whiny billionaire.
You won 4 championships. You have I think it's the third most profitable franchise in the NBA right now. Shut up. Come on.
That's what I would say to that. I've got about no sympathy for him there because I mean he's definitely still making more money than he's losing by far. But yeah, this Warriors team has made it easy to like them in a lot of ways. Obviously, I hated them when they had Durant. This championship they had this year, it was cool to see. Really, enjoy Steph Curry as a player and Klay Thompson, and they were both drafted by the team, and obviously Draymond was too, and a bunch of other guys. And they continue to find guys deep like Jordan Poole, Gary Payton, Gary Payton II. I mean, he just was applying to be an intern before this season, and they told him, no, eventually you're going to get a spot in the rotation.
Crazy. And then they got him a good career now. Yeah, I mean, what the craziest thing is now, once all is said and done, the Golden State Warriors are now a major franchise. I can still see people just wanting to go there in the future, whether Steph Curry's there or not. I still think they're going to be a major market now because of what they were able to do. They've just turned that in. They have
catapulted themselves. I mean, they've been more relevant than they've ever been in their history now. I mean, they were not a championship winning franchise before this, really.
No. But Golden State Warriors, no brainer. That's not that hard to think of.
All right, guys, that was strictly ball business, and we loved hearing you.